And Alan, we're getting a lot of questions about this housing bubble. I feel like we've been talking about it forever, but you found three graphs to show why this is not a housing bubble. Please.
No, it does. I mean, you could certainly, if you didn't have the information, read into the fact that it feels like the housing bubble in 2008 when everything was a little crazy. But as we, I've said many times, you have to look at the data. So I'm going to share my screen here. Are you giving me sharing abilities? Great.
Of course, you have all of the abilities.
I have all the abilities. Great. Can you see this okay?
I see it.
All right, great. So the data shows us in three different graphs why this isn't. And the first one is the supply of homes is nothing like last time. So if you look at 2007 to 2010, we had an overabundance of homes on the market.
Yeah, like almost 3 times in some cases. Yeah.
Right. We have very few homes on the market. So it's very different than in 2008, 2009. The other reason it's different is that the lender practices, let me open this real quick. Let me share this. The lender practices are very different. So the mortgage credit availability chart here, you can see that in those same time periods, remember that almost anybody could get a mortgage.
Those were the days, Alan.
Those were the days. I know there's some good news and bad news to that, right?
Yeah.
But because the standards were so lax and anybody could get a house and get a mortgage, then when we had problems, there was a huge foreclosure rate. But if we look in the foreclosure rates are very low when you look at 2007 to going into even 2015, kind of a leftover residual effect of that. But the foreclosure activity is so much lower now in 2021 than it was.
It'll be interesting to see what happens like in the coming years, because there were a lot, I don't know how many people there was like aid, right? So like from COVID. So if you couldn't pay your mortgage or whatever, there was relief from that. But I don't know.
Forbearance.
Yeah, I don't know, did they tack that onto the end? Is a lump sum coming due? Like, what kind of happened with that? How many people took that really can't pay? So I think it'll be interesting,
It will be interesting because you're right. Some people did take some money out as part of that forbearance.
It just doesn't feel like it will be as much likely as it was in 8, 9, and 10.
I agree. I think that there will be some, and that could be part of what's happening here in 2021. That might be part of that that number, but I don't know how they look at that. I assume that if they didn't pay, there would still be a foreclosure process that took place. Mm-hmm. So I would assume that it's baked into this number.
But I think too, from the second graph you showed about the mortgage money available, there was just exponentially more money out there that shouldn't have been out there, that it's unlikely that those people all of a sudden couldn't pay because of COVID, but have been paying the whole time and are now completely underwater. It just feels like statistically that doesn't sound like it passes.
You bring up a good point. You bring up a good point because the equity that people have in their house is so much higher now than in 2000.
And it was.
You're exactly right. The equity is so much higher now than then. So
and they just weren't getting. They haven't been doing these. We'll call them. I don't know if I want to call them bad loans, but exaggerated loans for so long that it's if people were unable to pay, if people had an exaggerated loan and they were unable to pay, the chances of it showing up now versus have already shown up seems
unlikely at this
exactly
point. And I think for all of those reasons, this shift in the market, which there is a shift going, and actually a good shift back to normal
Mhm.
real estate, is could be looked at as a good thing. I know all change always feels bad, but in this case, I think there's some good news in
Right.
this shift. But it isn't a bad thing. It's not
I
the
think
shift.
hoping for a bubble does not make it exist.
What was that?
Hoping for a bubble to happen doesn't mean it's going to. It doesn't, even though you really want it and you visualized it and you read The Secret and you really want it to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
Alan, you know what we can always do?
What's that?
Ask the magic 8
Oh, we
ball.
could ask the magic 8 ball, right? You could. It's got
Let me
all the.
see. Well, I got a new phone, so oh, it's up. Okay. Is this a housing bubble like 2008? It says yes.
Oh, so much for the magic 8 ball. You know what? I didn't know that you had that on your
Wait, it
phone.
changed. Outlook not so good. It's changing its mind.
I
Alan,
didn't
let's
know.
ask it a
I
let's
thought
ask
you
it.
actually had an 8 ball.
No,
I
it's
didn't
on the
know you had
phone. It's an app. Oh, ask again later. Alan, let's ask it a fun question. Is Alan's favorite is your favorite color blue?
I do like blue.
What's your favorite color?
I don't know that I have a favorite, but blue is probably close.
If I had a favorite, it would be blue. Is Alan difficult to get
Depends
along
on
with?
what it is. I do
No,
tend to like gray, sort of earth tones, and
like beige?
well, earth tones. I mean, more like grays, like light grays,
Not
and
like dirt.
I do like. I know it's kind of boring right
Let's
now,
ask it this. Is Alan more difficult to get along with than Jen? See what it is.
but
Oh, hold on. Is Alan more difficult to get along with than me? Outlook not so good. Damn you.
it's against you.
It is against me. Anyway, I think though, just to kind of wrap up this conversation, there's always people that are buying and selling. Everybody's situation is totally different. I mean, I bought a number of investment properties in 2009 and 2010. And we still own them today. And some of them we sold and some we own. And it was a good opportunity. You know what I mean? Also, we were able to help a lot of people get out from under foreclosure and do a short sale, and then they could buy in a few years, So there's always people buying and selling. Like, you have to look at your specific situation and what works for you. And then if people do want to look at their situation, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, just call or text 513-646-1488. We'd love to talk to you about your situation, and there are some creative ideas right now that we're using. So it's kind of a fun market to be in, actually.
Yeah, it is. Well, and Alan, your first house interest rate was what?
21%.
Duh.
1983. Bought my first house, brand new house. 21.
Wow.
It was actually foreclosed on by the builder, so the bank owned it.
Oh,
So there were some incentives that they gave us, but definitely high. I mean, we really thought that was a good interest rate because some of them were 23%.
see, it's all relative.
It is relative. It's
People
all
still
relative.
buy and sell. And it's just, it has to be because people buy and sell houses because of something that's going on. They're not buying and selling because of the interest rate. You do pull some people into the future when you have a low interest rate, right? Like,
I
maybe they
agree.
would buy in the future, but they buy now. But there's always people.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being on. Thanks for the
Yeah.
graphs. I know we know you love graphs.
I love graphs. I love data. I love the story it tells.
Exactly. See
All
ya.
right.